Welcome to our Getting to Know Dual Credit series. My name is Blair, and in part 3, we're going to review the management and assigning of programs to students. So the master list of students is always listed here under View Students, and this blue box is considered a filter box. So the more you filter, the less students you're going to receive. I wanted to first talk about, there's this grad year filter here, and I noticed that it's including grad years that have come and gone, and of course I can uncheck these, but every time I come back to this area, those two will be back enabled because they're considered still to be active grad years. So we notice this happens a lot where that's missed. So there is a system setting, and you can sort of decide what your active grad years are. So if all the loose ends are tied up with these two grad years and you want to just turn them off like that, then every future visit to view students will now be just in the active grad years. Now there's nothing stopping you from turning these on for historical reference and whatnot, but on a daily basis make sure you have the right set here for you. Other than that, you can do the normal discoverable types of things. I can limit to just ACIT students just like that, or I can limit it to ACIT and SSA, so you can do combinations of listings like this. You'll see your search results. It looks here like we have Jennifer Lawrence entered twice, and in fact there's only one student, Jennifer Lawrence, but she's associated with both an ACIT and an SSA program. So for convenience, we're bringing both to view because we're actually searching on both of these. You can drill right into the details of a student using the student icon, or you can drill directly into the program details through this convenient shortcut right here as well. So I'll just bring up a student. You can see there we go. You can see the grad year and the grad month, all of the demographics, basic information. You can see that indeed she has registered in two separate programs. Lots of opportunity to go paperless within dual credit, so you can attach memos and we logged a phone call and had a discussion, and I'd like to just track that personally. And it just becomes like a sticky note on file that follows that student. So very, very useful. Also endeavoring to go paperless, you have a Documents tab where you're welcome to select files and upload them and attach them. And now they just travel with the student, and you have a paperless way of doing that. Backing out of here, so we sort of talked about how we filter and search, and you can sort and view and get into your details. But where does all this information come from? Some way, shape, or form you have to get the student information into dual credit. So you can go to add students, and there's nothing stopping you from manually hand entering your student information. You can see that there's a lot of required information, legal and common names, birth date, we need the ministry PIN number, address, and lots of details. And the reality is you all have this information, and it's all stored in your student information system, which is for most of you MyEdBC. So I wanted to show you that you can preload your students into the system using an import. And the first time through, it's a bit of work. We have a quick reference guide written specifically for level 1 supports around MyEdBC, written in a language with screenshots that they'll understand. It's basically a process where you create a filter for the grades you want and all of the details around that. We create a specific field set with the fields or columns that we want, and then we extract it. And the nice thing is, after you've done this, you return, and it's just you go to MyEdBC, you run a filter, you narrow to a specific field set, and then you extract as a CSV. And this process, second time and subsequent visits, is about a 5-minute process. I'm not going to actually import a file because this is a test environment and it's not real students. It's completely non-destructive. You could literally import your students every day, and I know you wouldn't, but all it does is update the grades and homeschools of your existing students, and it creates a table where you can pull new students into your system without retyping information. So as an example, if I go back to add, and I know that I have a student in my district with a last name Pitt, I can search on that, and there's my student. So I'm one click away from pre-filling all of that information. I spend a lot of time on this, but the value in doing the imports and adding students this way means very clean data right from the beginning, the data that flows to the ITA for registration and dual credit grants and all of that stuff starts here. So the cleaner you can be, the better. We really encourage you to do that, to do the imports. When I do add a student manually, all I need to do is go to Programs. And from here, this is the heart of dual credit. It is, what are they going to be learning about? What trades? So I'm going to go ahead and add a program. And you've got some different classifications here. I'll start with an ACIT. And from here you have to align with the trade. So you may have some trades where there's no programs available, and you'll have other trades, there we go, carpenter, where you do. And whether you do or not is all dependent on what you have set up in Manage Programs. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this trainee to a carpenter. And the start date, you can use the calendar drop downs, and I could say September 1st, but you can also type directly in. So I'm going to say until December 25th, 2016, right till Christmas Day. ACIT coursework you wouldn't know at the time of entering a student, so we leave that as not applicable. We have to align the student with an ACIT intake, just like so. So just like that, I have created a student and associated a student with a program. Now the ITA does not see this information yet. I have not registered the student. That's very clear when I go back and look at the student details. There is no ITA, individual ID number, yet, and we will review the process of registration in our next series. At the very heart of dual credit, you can add students to more than one program. So I can add an existing student, or again I could go back and add a brand new student, and I've got Natalie Portman in my district, and we're going to go ahead and so we've added all the demographics, and this time we're going to add a student to an SSA. So here we go, and I align with a trade, and it's going to be hairstylist, and I choose what school that hairstylist program is taking place at, and from here I just need to align the details. Different in SSA is we have an employer alignment, and of course these aren't real employers in our demonstration, but basically you line up with an employer and then you align with a tradesperson within that environment. And all of the employers and tradespersons are configured under the Manage Employer area, which was covered in Part 1. Start date is a required field, so I'm going to say October 1st. The end date you may not know, but the ITA really likes to know as much as possible. So even if it's not carved in stone, if you could give an anticipated end date, that helps tremendously. And I'll go ahead and create a program. So again, we've added a student to SSA, but they have not yet been registered with the ITA. If I go back and view my students and do a search, we'll now see our new students that have been added. So Brad Pitt is new, Natalie Portman is new. We can see very clearly that one of them is ACIT and one of them is SSA. And that is a very brief summary of managing your students and assigning to programs. Thank you for your time.